All right, y'all. So listen, y'all gotta be so fucking careful out here because there's so many agents of chaos and misinformation, and you simply don't understand sometimes what you're looking at when you're looking at it. Princella, this is a devil. Now I know that that sounds hyperbolic, but this woman has penis envy and she wants women at her beck and call. Now, I want y'all to understand how narcissism works, especially the kind of narcissism that's megalomaniac or similar to Trump. The idea of having control over the minds of both men and women is a power that somebody like Princella never had. Princella was neglected as a child, allegedly, abused as a child, allegedly. You can tell if you were one of her subscribers and you listened to her live streams, the way she would go off and the kind of callous way she treated her daughter. You could tell that she'd been through some shit. And many people know that she was treated very badly. There's stories of her not being fed. There's stories of neglect and abuse. And she said that she was raped 3 times by men. Now, for her to sit up here and say that women are more narcissistic than men and had been raped by, this woman has literally been raped by men several times, according to her. And so the kind of harm that men have caused you versus B. Taylor basically chipping away at your social presence and causing you discomfort and calling into question your parenting style and putting that at the same equivalence of having been raped is fucking crazy work. We have got to get better at understanding that there are a lot of people out here who have these terrible childhoods. And my childhood wasn't terrible, but it had some extremely damaging shit in it, right? And when I got to an age of growth and presence, I simply just wanted to be the best version of myself and release any harm. Then I wanted to protect my gifts and my light because I saw how people would come for you and I saw how people would attack that part of me. So I chose me. It ain't got nothing to do with having power over a motherfucking person because I literally don't give a shit about having power over people. Influence, maybe, but power over people, not really something that I care about. But some of these people, when they go through what they go through in their childhood, they come out and they want to be able to manipulate the world. You need to look at the facts. Princella was an abused, neglected child. She has a huge mother wound. She was raped and discarded by men and disposed of. Okay? She has a lot of pain inside, but she understands how to utilize dark psychology. This woman reads, who the fuck would read a book by Pimpin' Ken? No woman on earth would sit up and say, you know what, let me read a book by Raggedy Ass Pimp and figure out how to utilize that to my advantage. And I thought at first it was different. I was like, okay, this might be slightly brilliant, which whenever you're dealing with someone like this, they're always toting the line of being both brilliant and demonic because the power can be used in either way. She's just a girl who did not get the love, the validation, and even the respect of her humanity because she's gifted. When I tell you that, hold on, my child, the things I never had. Hold on. This is your body on Wegovy. You can get these ads, boy, they be going crazy. So when you are assessing a person, you have to understand that there is complexity in everything, right? Donald Trump is charismatic, right? He galvanizes poor people because he sounds dumb. He makes funny jokes that are kind of unexpected. He will go after anybody. He don't give a fuck about nothing and nobody. He real brazen. He real bold like that. And that make a white man feel powerful. But white men don't realize that that pendulum can swing both ways. Just as he's made white men feel empowered, he's made white men feel unempowered. That same thing with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, charismatic, beautiful woman, banging, nice body, very good with her words to an extent, but when you pay close attention, you hear a lot of ghetto, mumbo jumbo, psycho babble. You feel me? You can tell. You have to listen closely. And I think one of the things that happen with us as people is we get caught up and mesmerized in the things that we admire about people and allow that to overtake us. It is like almost like a starstruck. And many people be like, what I'm starstruck for this, that. Stop resisting the notion that you might have fell for the okie doke. So I'm going to go through her conversation. The thing is, I've been talking about this for years. When she did the switch after her and B. Taylor broke up, I was like, yeah, this lady is very vigilant in the destruction of anything that came against her. When it was her baby daddy and she thought that men constantly disposed of her, she was like, I'm going to destroy them. And she went far and wide to do that. With B. Taylor kind of exposing her socially, like literally men raped you, but women are more narcissistic. That ain't even statistically proven. So she's out here spreading dangerous rhetoric. This is what I want to tell you. Women, there are women out here who engage in narcissistic behavior. There's no doubt about it. Specifically, though, if we are a critical thinking species, we will understand that, and I agree with her, this is a narcissistic culture. But saying women are 1,000 times more narcissistic is complete and total utter foolishness and hyperbole. It's silliness. Because in order to have narcissism, you have to have, for one, you got to have a big ass ego. You have to create a false narrative of yourself and project that out into the world. And you have to surround yourself around people who blindly follow the image that you project and don't have any kind of critical thinking skills about how your behavior may contradict the image that you're putting out there. Almost like a cult. You need a cult following, first of all. And you require that of the people around you. The second thing about that is that you need to be emotionally incompetent. The part of the reason why people put out a false mask, a false self, is because they are still yet children internally. So the mask is what makes them look strong. The mask is what makes them look powerful. Thirdly, you got to be willing to offensively, without any kind of retaliation or without being provoked, you have to offensively attack people just for the mere fact of breaking them down, humbling them, or humiliating them. You need to understand that in this system of patriarchy, the bigger picture, the person that is the subjugated one under each group is the one who gives license to a humiliation ritual from its supposed superior. So men get to give women a humiliation ritual. Straight people get to give gay people a humiliation ritual. White people get to give black people a humiliation ritual. Do you see how they are crashing out when you don't accept the abuse, the degradation, and being treated like you are devalued under them? Do you see? Pay attention to all the stuff you see around you. The men crashing out online, talking about no gender. There ain't no motherfucking gender wars. There's bitches that's tired of misogyny and patriarchy. They're tired of being treated as if their humanity doesn't matter. You have to dehumanize others and think you are the center of the world in order for narcissism to really be the thing. Are there narcissistic women out here? Absolutely. But it is a function of the patriarchy. And that is where she's missing the point. So I really want y'all to understand how to utilize critical thinking. Hold on. I'm gonna have to let these commercials go because this shit is ridiculous. But so what y'all have to understand, and what I've been telling y'all about Princella for the last 4 or 5 years, this woman has a vendetta to destroy and control and manipulate. Again, let's put the pieces of the puzzle together. She was an abused child. She said she was raped and discarded by men. Now, how you was raped and discarded by men and say women are 1,000 times more narcissistic is insane. She has a mother wound, but she's gifted. And I want you guys to understand that I don't take away from her gifting, because I understand it, because I'm gifted. Here's what happens when you go through trauma when you're a child. When you're a child and you go through trauma and then you become an adult and you realize you had the gift the whole time, you be looking at these motherfuckers who used to abuse you and mistreat you like, bitch, you ain't even an eighth of what I am. And they become so minuscule and irrelevant to you when they once held so much power and they had so much influence over how you felt about yourself. That's because you were damaged goods. And then you realize that there was a concerted attack on your life, on your psyche, on your light. But for me, maybe I went the route of understanding and forgiveness. I realized let me just be clear. And maybe this isn't the right word to say. I realize people are stupid. I realize people give in to their worst impulses. I realize people give in to their worst weaknesses. I realize that people will follow patterns of their predecessors, no matter how toxic, and turn around and do the same shit that was done to them to somebody else. That's what I mean when I say stupid. I mean, like, you don't realize that you're harming somebody because you've been harmed. Like, it shouldn't be that hard for you as an adult to put 2 and 2 together. Like, you can't be that fucking stupid. But I've come to realize that people are stupid. So for me, again, this might not be the right word that I'm using. It makes me let it go. It also kind of makes me forgive, but it also makes me acutely aware of how much people project their shit on other people. So when I went through that, I didn't become enraged and like, I'm gonna get all these bitches. I'm gonna fuck all these motherfuckers over. I'm gonna play all these people. I'm gonna siphon all this money from these people because I've been hurt and dismissed and shitted on my entire life. So now I got a plan. I got a master plan to outsmart everybody. If you listen to the context of what Princella said throughout everything, she has been made it clear that she felt like she was shitted on her entire life and that she's smarter than most people. That's the vendetta behind it. That is why she told us everything about her. If you paid attention to her live stream and you weren't mesmerized by her words, but I gotta understand, maybe some people are mesmerized by her words because they're not good speakers or something. Because I'm a good speaker, so that shit is like, I salute her in that as a fellow orator who has the ability to articulate themselves very well. So I celebrate her in that. She took some risks and she did some things that I wasn't willing to do. She has a darker soul, and she will, you know what I'm saying? She will cross lines that I just can't do. I just can't do. So a lot of times when you're not willing to do certain things, you're going to stay small. You're going to stay small. That's the truth. But anyway, it's not really about that. It's about the fact that I understand exactly where Princella is coming from. But my heart didn't get dark. The pain doesn't control me. I don't want to fuck everybody over. I will expose bullshit, but that's it. So I want y'all to start utilizing critical thinking skills, because if you were someone who listened to her in the early parts of her now grift, you will understand that she told you everything about who she is. She studies dark psychology. Now, let me go ahead and break this down. Is that's really spoken about. That women are 1,000 times more narcissistic than males. Now, the 1,000 times more narcissistic than males is crazy work. This is a woman who claims that she was raped by men. Whatever B. Taylor did to her, it definitely wasn't that bad. The only thing that she could be doing a callback from is what her mom did to her. Now, supposedly she was neglected and abused. And I don't laugh at anybody's neglect or anybody's abuse, but that's what she's pulling from. And you will see that as she goes throughout this conversation. This is where we start to connect dots and we start to do critical thinking. She's talking about her mother. I think the entire human species is a narcissistic species. I agree with that. The whole species is narcissistic. Yes. But I believe that the most uncomfortable truth for the average person is that women are actually narcissistic, more narcissistic than males. Not that males are not narcissistic, it's that women are 1,000 times more narcissistic. I've never heard a saying that, oh, you just have to love your father no matter what he did because that's your only dad. You only get one. I never hear that. Okay, so why would she put that out there? Because that's something that her mother told her. If you ever watch her live streams, you will see that she could get a little testy with her daughter. And she will sit on them fucking live streams for hours and hours. Her daughter is a neurodivergent. Her daughter is autistic. How are you sitting on the live stream for hours and hours? You can hear her in the background making little noises and stuff like that. You can tell that the child needs attention. She needs direct attention. And one of the things that B. Taylor, her ex-girlfriend, exposed is she felt like Princella didn't put her daughter in the best situation, in the best living conditions to have a child with autism. So it's not only is she doing a callback from her own mother, but she's projecting. She's projecting because she has treated her daughter with callousness. And honestly, I remember one time sitting in the live stream thinking, girl, don't yell at that baby like that. If she needs your love and your attention, get the fuck off the fucking live stream, bitch. Put your child first. We gonna be here. We ain't motherfucking going nowhere. Niggas gonna always spend that coin. We love throwing our money away. Fuck you mean? Go see about your child. But it was at the height of her, her growth. And I was kind of trying to calibrate, but I did not like that at all. I had issues with the way that she talked to that child. And I know taking on a child with a learning disability, not a learning disability, a child with a neurological, disability is a lot. But that means that you have to give a lot. So how the fuck are you sitting on stream for 8, 4, 7 hours? Really? I always heard about a woman, no matter what a mother did to her children, no matter what, that's your mama. You still need to love your mom, no matter what she did. I hear women say, no matter what a woman does, a man should never put his hands on her. What? What? So you telling me that there are circumstances where a man should physically harm women? Well, I mean, they don't need your permission, bitch. Last I checked, domestic violence rates for black women is astronomical. The femicide rates is astronomical. Do you see how I'm breaking down the shit she's saying? See, she will go on and you will be mesmerized because she also has warlock and witch ability. Okay? She has Baphomet abilities. She's very androgynous. Hermaphrodite abilities. That's on the spiritual side. But when you sit here and say there shouldn't be no situation where a man put his hands on a woman, women are just saying that in defense of themselves for a very real situation, which is our domestic violence rates as black women is atrocious. Do you not see all the fucking femicide going on here? And do you understand that we do not have to live to jack up niggas' egos? When you bruise a man's ego, he act like it's cool to bruise your face. I bruise men's egos and they have become some of the most coldest, vitriolic, evil, malignant, demonstrative, parasitic, toxic son of the bitches you ever did see. Nigga, all I did was bruise your ego. All I did was tell you you ain't who you thought you was. And I maybe ain't even said it. I just implied it. And that ego was so fragile, it cracked apart. And now you want to be physically abusive to me. Let's go on. And women believe they can do anything to you and expect that you would accept it and still worship the ground they walk on. So again, now she's going back to her mother. Y'all got to understand she is projecting her darkness onto the world. And I need y'all to hear this and hear it very well. She specifically said, they think that they can do anything to you and you're supposed to worship the ground they walk on. Then earlier she said, I never heard a woman say that, a man say that I'm your father and you supposed to love me anyway. Now, I'm going to tell you that whole thing about black mothers kind of making it so that you never get to examine their parenting. You never get to criticize their parenting. You never get to have an issue with things that they did. Okay, that shit is highly toxic. But does it meet the realm of narcissism? Not quite, but it's highly toxic. So if the mother was in any way abusive towards the child and the child, is coming back and trying to unpack that. And she's telling the child is telling the mother, hey, you did some harmful things to me. And she's like, well, I'm your mother. You should never forsake me. And it's like, wait a minute. These things that harm me are real. These things that harm me did hold me back. Why aren't you hearing me? You see, what Princella needs is a good goddamn hug. And for somebody to tell her you are worthy and I love you and you matter. You see, these are all things that I did for myself. This is why my vitriol and my anger do not have to be projected onto the world. It's called reparenting. I told y'all before on the Ellie Mar page, I reparented with Obatala and I reparented with Yamaya and sometimes a Sutton segment. I put the love in me that I felt that I missed out on growing up because I was always held to high responsibilities, high account. I was always expected to perform. I was always expected to, be level-headed and be, the least wanting of something. If everybody else needed something, my needs were completely an afterthought. Now, mind you, I'm a black woman with a disability. And again, I could never be as needy as a black man. It's just the truth. To improve the truth about the psychology of women has to be revealed. It's a dark place. It's not peaches and cream because women think that they can abuse you. Women think that they can talk to you any kind of way. They think they can put their hands on you and then they expect you to still speak of them as angels. Okay, so again, this is her mother she's talking about. Now, I will say that a lot of black women can be very combative in terms of we get used and discarded a lot. And that's just the truth. That's just the facts of the matter. So a lot of black women walk around with a chip on their shoulder. And the chip is warranted. And I'm not here to place a judgment on how quickly you should get rid of it. I think you should explore that chip and learn how to protect yourself from people who really don't mean you no good. Okay? But she's talking about her mom. And so many women are going to sit and listen to this shit and go, yup, because women are narcissistic. Yup, because women do this. Women do that. I want to point back to the domestic violence and femicide statistics. When women start killing when black women start killing black men at the same rate that they're killing us, then we got a conversation. Until then, shut the fuck up. That's bad because that behavior trickles down to their children. So they end up their children. Women are very to their children and they don't even understand in what ways they're to their. Now this I agree with, but it's very strange hearing that coming from her. She would be visibly agitated with her daughter on stream, visibly aggressive with her daughter on stream. So I would say that yes, again, the gifted dark soul, that's what I'm gonna call her. The gifted dark soul is not wrong about this. I think that when I was growing up, I don't think my mother understood that she was abusive to me. The ways in which she was abusive to me was, number one, she always wanted to kind of, like I had this kind of, how can I put it? I will never be the acceptable form of femininity for niggas. Niggas want a bitch that's just willing to kind of be a doormat, but be a doormat, keep her legs open, and just praise him. And I think that my mama got broken down at an early age. And when she got broken down, the light in me, she didn't know it was light in me that she was agitated by. She thought I was being fast, grown, too cocky, too confident, and it made her attack that which in me, which was my light. She did not know that was my light because that from her was stripped from her early on. And I didn't think she deserved that. I wish she would have been treated with the sensitivity and the care and the gentleness that she deserved. But she wasn't. And so because she was treated with callousness and cruelty and very much so bullied by her own mother, she bullied me. And she did not understand that that's what she was doing. She thought that she was just keeping me under control and under wraps, but it made me more susceptible to abuse from men. It made me more tolerable of fucked up ass people in my friendships. And I had to ruthlessly edit and really cleanse my life in my late 30s because I was breaking down and depression and this and that and that and this until I had to arrive. And I resented her for a very long time. I had so much contempt for that lady. But I understand more now. You can't give what you don't have. She was even abused to have me. My dad did, reproductive abuse. He abused her. Okay. So since my dad abused her, disposed of her, got her pregnant, disposed of her, she wasn't never in the right mindset as a mother. Not that any of it was right, because I still had to go through all of these things. It blocked me from a lot of my prosperity, her twisted thinking. Instead of developing me, honing in on my skills, teaching me how to love myself, she wanted me to be on the same frequency as her, and she looked at it as hierarchy. I'm the one. I'm the HNIC. And you are a little peon. That's how she was treated, so that's how she treated me.
Children. And you can't tell them anything because they do no wrong in their eyes. I try to tell women that even when it comes to their sons, most women set their sons up for failure, and they don't even understand why they set their sons up for failure. And they don't understand this because they don't understand the nature of the male, the physiology, the neurology of the male. They don't understand the male's existence. Most parents, specifically women, because it's most single parents are women, you hear them say something like, I just wanted to give my child the things I never had. And if it's a woman saying that, and she has a son, this is bad because you're not thinking about the development of your child. You're trying to make up for your own childhood through your child, giving them things that you never had, that you wanted. You're not giving them what they need. You're not tailoring the new environment or your behaviors or your parenting style around what you're.
Okay, she is correct here. But here's the thing about the gifted dark soul. That ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with narcissism. That ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with narcissism. I want y'all to get off the internet and go to the DSM-5 and learn what narcissism is. Because this is not narcissism. What she is describing is projection. It has nothing to do with narcissism. Okay? It's projection, psychological projection. She has not described narcissism in any real way.
My child needs. You are thinking about yourself. Well, if you're a woman and you have a son, you are subconsciously thinking of your son as your daughter, yourself. You're treating him like a girl because you were a girl. And you start to give the children things that they don't need that ends up sabotaging the development of the child. Von Dutch and True Religion had no business doing
Girl, these fucking commercials, bro.
Like, I'm going on a little content trip, so I was like, this would be really good to go ahead and bring. I believe it's going to count as my personal item. I don't know if y'all fly Spirit and Frontier, but. And they are totally unaware of this. So I believe that more information, more knowledge, more education can help with women seeing their own psyche. Relationships should be a mirror to the individual. Every person that you get with is going to reflect back to you who you are. You have to be attuned enough to know that, this stuff that I'm getting back, it is because I'm projecting something and I'm getting feedback. Ooh. What is it that I'm doing? What is it about my thought process that's bringing this back to me?
I don't know about
what
that.
What is drawing me to the types of relationships? What is it that is showing me? People don't use relationships as feedback as they should, but they give you information that you really.
Oh my God, all the fucking commercials, bro. Anyway, so the main takeaway here is she spent no time qualifying her statement. This is how you get around a charlatan. Where are your facts? When she did what she did, when she talked about men, she always came with the facts. There were statistics, there were peer-reviewed studies. Now this is all vibes. This is all vibes. And if you know what narcissism is from a clinical perspective, because I don't go around just saying, I understand narcissism really intentionally from a clinical perspective. I'm not enough to diagnose somebody, okay? I'm not Dr. Cheyenne Bryan, okay? I'm not Dr. Cheyenne Bryan, but enough to recognize those high traits. And of the 9 traits of narcissism, she literally only listed 1 or 2. Not even really 1, to be honest. The abuse part, yes. Because abuse can be very, very intricate. Let me explain. Abuse can be something as simple as you take a wild animal and you domesticate them and put them in a house, and then you expect them to follow the rules of the house. You yell at them and you kick them and you harm them when they don't behave a certain way inside the house. But they're a wild animal. Now you thinking you giving them something warm, a place to stay, and woo woo woo. But you're actually abusing them by taking them out of their natural habitat and not tailoring the way you treat them to the best possible optimal way of them watching them grow, helping them grow. So what she did throughout that entire thing was give examples of her grievances that she has with women. Am I saying that a lot of women who grew up, especially black women, because it should be contextualized. She should be honest and say this is a black woman thing. Women who grew up during the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, crack epidemic, civil rights, coming out of slavery, crime bill. There was a lot of psychological unhealthiness in the black community. There were a lot of new things that were happening that we hadn't seen before. In the 80s and 90s, when men were just pew, 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 making babies and leaving those women to raise those children in the projects, in the Robert Taylor homes, in the Ickeys, and the Cabrini Greens, and all that old shit. I'm talking about Chicago shit now. But when they were leaving these women to raise these children in public housing, nobody knew that it was going to be rampant teen pregnancy, rape, drugs, violence, so on and so. The only one that knew that shit was the government. We didn't know that what it was. We just knew we needed affordable housing. So you got to understand that they had a whole big plan to keep us disenfranchised. The government, CIA, them sons of bitches. And the mentality of black women during that time, they probably were in survival mode, hardcore, and they didn't even understand what they was going through. So a lot of us millennials are shedding that shit. Now, as gifted as Princella is, nobody pulled her. No, none of her predecessors gave her that hug, that love, that reassurance that she needed, and told her that it was okay for her to be a neurodivergent. Because, oh yes, she is neurodivergent. Nobody told her who she is good enough. But she didn't do the reparenting. I understand she refused to go to therapy. Just because you're intelligent enough to break down therapeutic things do not mean that you actually know how to apply them to your life. That is when you have to be grounded and say, I'm going to learn something new, even if I feel like I already know what this person is going to say. And allow yourself to be vulnerable. She doesn't allow herself to be vulnerable. Therefore, no light can get in. She will not understand. Now, see, when I push back on people, it's people who have a reputation of being fucking screw-ups in my life, and they've given me bad advice, and I've given you a chance, and you've said dumb shit, or you've made huge mistakes that cost me a lot. So no, I'm not listening to you, or I'm going to tailor what I listen to you about. You're good in this area, but you're delusional in this area, so I'm not going to listen to you in this area. That is critical thinking. Not allowing any self-observation is not letting any light in. That is why you can be a gifted person with a dark soul. So